problem.
Yeah, we put a lot of drive culverts in that we don't own.
Yeah.
And we put a lot of drainage systems in back historically that go hundreds of feet outside our right of way that we don't own.
Wow.
That
you do not maintain any driveway comments anymore.
No, nor do you.
Yeah, we don't either.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And there's some towns that have had ordinances to do that. There's only 2 or 3 towns out of the 29 that we work with that do that.
Yeah.
And it can work for them in one of those 2 that do it. It's up in the Kingdom in Norton.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense probably for them to do it because they're such a small population that they can get it done and get it done reasonably. And most of their residences it's like still pretty equitable distribution of tax funds. Nobody's really losing out based on having to pay for a culvert here and there out of the big picture. But the other one, I won't name names, that does that, I don't think it is fair for the taxpayers, because then you have everybody putting into this pot of money that only select few are benefiting from. So it really, and the old rule of where does that driveway, where does that road lead, that's who owns it, and that's who should pay for it.
Yeah. And
just like side roads, even like the town roads, that town road is for the town, that access is owned by the town.
Yeah.
And that's Title 19, Section 1111 statute. That's what governs all of that access.
Hey, Fred.
Come on in.
Morning, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Good.
So Shane was asking if you had any, we're gonna apply for any grants this year, any big projects?
Culverts that are a problem or at the end of their useful life expectancy?
One right away on the street. All depends what they do with that tube going down across. They talked to you about that?
No, not that one.
No.
That's the one that's right down here? Yeah, we just talked about it.
Yeah, so
I said the state owned it, and you said no.
That's a conflict, you know.
Well, he says they don't own it. They
Put
did
a
a lot of
culvert.
things back in the day that
But
they
we
don't
put a
do
culvert
now.
and put it in the road and not hooked to it. And people are gonna be mad. You know, it's never gonna end.
yeah, it was
So
that's
it goes all the way this way. Then it goes from Van Til and goes that way.
down the side
and
of our road,
Yeah, and it dumps into the.
dumps across.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that the one that we looked at in the past?
They cleaned it out last year.
Yeah.
Or a year before.
Yeah, in the outlet.
What's your name, sir?
My name's Eric.
Eric?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Did I not
yeah.
introduce Eric?
We didn't
I'm
get
not-
to use anybody.
but I'm not worried about that one,
We've emailed
Jane.
a ton, so.
I thought so.
I'm not worried about that one. I got one in the street here. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I was told if I put it in, it's not hooked to the other one. But I ain't going through the headache.
Right.
People are gonna be up here bitching and crying, and well,
Yeah.
there won't be no end to it. I know how that's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Then somebody's gonna throw something down the end of the other one. It's a long tube down across there.
Yeah.
And it's not hurting the road, right?
Well, the road's still working.
Right, so,
No, I just see the future when they do something with it. It's gonna be a big hassle.
Yeah.
So for this year though, it sounds like no structures grants that you're interested
Well,
in
we're
for
gonna
this
deal
year.
with that other lady there that's gonna come around
Right.
for the
Sarah.
watershed or whatever.
Yeah,
we
Sarah.
call it.
That's the better roads grant. Yeah.
She'll be
Okay.
riding around with you.
But with something with that, maybe somebody might come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There,
Maybe for next year
Yeah.
or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there is some funding that Better Roads may be able to do. I'm not sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, it's-
That may be something that'd be a good fit for their program.
I haven't met with her yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That'll,
she'll be able to
that'll
tell you.
identify some more issues for you.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah. Okay. So for now though, we're not looking for any funding this year. Okay. From us, from the
Well, I can't
structures
foresee
program.
it, you know.
Okay.
No big projects that we had on the
No.
big culverts going across roads or anything.
Okay.
ditching, no big.
Oh, we're gonna ditch what we do every year. Anyway.
You can get grant funding for that. Stone lining.
So
For
you
better,
guys,
that'll be better roads.
If you have
Category
questions
B.
with those,
you know, I want to do something on Bear Mountain. That's all hill.
even the smaller culverts, you can
Yep.
get funding for Better Roads.
But that's through Sarah though, right? That's not.
Well-
It's Sarah's going to do the category A, the inventory and the plan.
Oh, okay.
And then with that inventory and plan, there'll be some of these identified.
Yep.
But you can still apply for those now and then apply for the ones that she identifies later. That'd be if the town wants to get the most state funding
Mhm.
that's available.
Yeah, Bear Mountain needs some ditching up there, but it's gonna be ledged, you know, the way the logs are coming in.
I would certainly,
It's all hill.
they'll pay to remove ledge, they'll,
So that's not through you, that's through her.
Not to
No,
remove
No,
it,
not through her Better
it's-
Roads program.
Yeah.
not
So
to
through
remove
you
it,
guys.
Shane, but to put it in the ditch line there, we're gonna have to,
yeah,
fabricate
stone
it.
line that.
Yeah.
So we can get money from these guys,
Yeah.
so we'll have to,
Yeah.
So that is a project, yeah.
What,
You need
what
a-
she does, just to clarify, because it sounds like there's maybe a little
Yeah.
confusion with, so what Sarah, from what she's going to do, she only does the Better Roads Category A.
okay,
She's only going to work on that Category A for you, for the Better Roads. And then there's the B, C's, and D's, and all the way up from B is the ditching, all the way up to D is structures funds. They're not like the $175,000 structure funds, but they go up to $60,000 in structure funds, which you can do a lot with 60 grand.
Yeah.
Certainly with Fred acting like the general contractor there, the town, I've seen where you guys can do big structures for
Well, yeah.
little money. So it's well state dollars spent.
so when Fred gets into the ditching process up there, he should get hold of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and
we'll steer him in the right direction.
Exactly.
Our
Let's keep it
office,
simple.
the district doesn't administer or oversee the Better Roads program, but we can help Fred. We can link the two together.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
we-
and can
we
help
do
with the
structures.
applications and things like that.
Right. We do.
But
We
where
have
I'm
the
saying Bear
structures
Mountain,
and
my
the
roads are
roadway.
getting wide up here, you know, it's gonna be narrowed up some.
Yeah.
Does he need to give you
Then
estimates
we
or
got-
anything first of what
No.
he anticipates
Well,
it's going to cost?
First of all, the Better Roads grants, they're done for this year, so they've already been established. You wouldn't be able to do it this year. So
Oh.
you would apply in probably November of this year for next year's funding.
Yep.
And a ditching grant basically is category B. It's $20,000,
Mhm.
and the local match can be replaced in kind work, so you can use your own
That's-
force
that's what we
work.
do.
You can get
So-
paid to do your own work.
So
Well,
that
You pay him
20,000,
already.
We won't. The town won't have to pay him.
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
help.
Really?
We can
Yeah,
help
we
you
can
put
track
together
all
an
that.
estimate for that. Like
Yeah.
if
We can help us.
one of us come out with you and say, hey, we're gonna do, half mile of ditching here, and this is how much stone we expect to use, and we can come up with a estimate and help you submit that to the Better Roads program. But we don't manage or oversee that program.
Okay.
We do structures and
Yeah,
roadway
we just
grant.
go and get it done like we did Vance Hill here.
Yep.
We did Vance Hill with Minier helped us there. We contracted him and he came in, he liked it. We got a grant on that actually that year.
Okay,
And they
so
did
we
the
should
work.
hook up with you this
Yeah,
fall.
or
Well,
the summer,
Yeah.
and
Or
we
the
can
summer.
we can start the process, and I can help you put together your application, and then we can bring in some Better Roads folks that can do that, so you can change pipes in it. So if you just want to pick a whole swath, a whole corridor, and do ditching, some of the smaller culverts and
Yep.
such. So yeah, just reach out to
That's
us
what I
anytime
usually
in
do,
summer.
right? You hit a road and do it.
Yeah, do all the whole
I don't,
thing
I
at
don't
once.
jump around.
Yeah, it makes more sense. I think you save money in the end that way too. To be honest.
Well, when you get done, you know that road is done.
Right.
Then
Yeah, it's peace of mind.
Following year or the same year, you go to another one, you
Yeah.
get that one done, you know.
Yeah.
Jump
The only
here,
thing
jump
you'll have to
there.
do is talk Danny Pepin into getting a
Yeah.
bucket compactor.
Yeah, he's gonna.
He has thought about it, I'll tell you, he's thought
I know.
about it.
I was skiing with his wife and kids there with Troy School, and I was saying, when is he gonna get? I was picking on him. When's he gonna get a bucket compactor for that thing?
Well, he looks around.
That's good.
We have talked about that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so we can get started on that paperwork,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Get it done.
Do codes and standards first, or do you want to do the TA first?
Yeah, the code and standards is
It's
right
an
here.
easy one.
So I know that by heart. Actually, I wrote it, so I should be good. Hopefully I remember.
Is that your name on it?
Yeah. Eric will be right on next year.
Yeah.
So
Where
this
you
is,
going?
huh?
You leaving?
No, I got other
Moving to
responsibilities.
Florida.
Yeah,
He's retiring.
yeah,
He's all
I'm
done. He's retiring.
It was a good run.
36 and out.
This is the
That's nice.
certificate of codes and standards. So the town signed their original codes and standards, which is in here saying that they're ground gravel, same old story. And this is just saying that the town is going to continue to follow codes and standards.
Now, can Fred sign that?
Yeah, you can all sign it. I've never seen one come back.
Yeah. Those don't all scrutinize those guys.
Okay, today is the 8th. Do.
Hey, you made it. You have the snow machine in? Yeah.
So who would you prefer to sign then? The selectman? Okay.
Just in time. We need your
Yeah.
signature.
It was a good meeting. Good seeing
Just sign and leave?
you. That's it. It's easy.
Fred?
I can't get this camera now. I mean, this,
Camera? That's not a camera. That's why you don't take pictures with it.
what is this thing stand?
All out of good content, so I don't know. That's where it's starting.
I know.
We got to start all over.
No, just because Steve just got here. Before wasn't a selectmen's meeting.
Oh,
Can't open a meeting there.
never more. Yeah.
I think it's going to work.
Thank you.
Call
Okay,
a
so you
meeting
got-
to order at 8:15. Sure, Steve.
So that's just the
uh,
usual codes and standards. You just gotta sign that. You and Rick. And you want a copy of that too, right?
We'll take that.
You'll take that.
You guys can keep a copy.
Yeah, if you want to make a copy for your record, then we'll take that back and I'll keep it in a.
We're pretty important. We need the original.
Yeah. Let's do it as important as it gets.
Somebody's got to be.
Yeah.
I think I pulled one of those out from the file in the past 5 years. Oh, that's Fred's.
Do you want to make a copy
this
of
one's
that?
yours.
Sure.
Yeah, that way so you know you've signed it.
You get your name on it.
Yeah, Fred, look at the
Hey,
orange book for you.
can't do
It's
that.
good till 2019, so you got a little time, yeah.
Yeah, I got one. No, I'm older one.
Not much has changed, but there's some changes in there, but it's a good book. I actually like
Yeah,
it.
it is. You lost one.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Good. Just this kind of weather brings out
Thank
the
you very
best in
much.
everybody.
Right, right. Certainly they're driving.
Quite comical in the city this morning.
Roads are slick.
They are slick.
And
Yeah,
what do
it's
you wanna do?
that type of
What do you wanna
snow.
do
Yep.
next?
But you'll get rain this afternoon.
We can do your TA-60,
Okay.
your annual financial plan. It's just an estimate.
Snow
I
was
got
a
an
lot
old one,
drier
I
in
can
Morgan.
Scribble on this old one.
Is it?
Yeah, this morning coming home, it was a lot drier. The closer I got to dirty, it
And then
was
we can
wet.
finalize it
Kept
on
getting
that.
more.
Holland, Morgan, I don't
Well,
know. There's
actually,
different countries.
Yeah, we were a little higher up in our house too, so.
So your numbers are all in?
No,
No, those are
What?
the
no,
last
these are
two.
yours.
And Shane's cheat sheet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Oh.
scribble
It's
on
just gonna
this.
make a total
You
mess
guys
of
go
it.
away. This is one I usually give for signature.
Watch Dale's eyes.
Outrageous.
spin.
Fiscal year 2018
You guys run on, looks like,
calendar.
yeah, you cross out there. Fiscal. Let's see why.
Okay, ready.
Class 1, 0.
Mhm.
Class 2, can you put right next to that class 2, put your, you see 11.75 miles.
Mhm.
And for class 2 state aid, 48,000.
You want to use those same numbers, Shane?
Yeah, we're gonna, because it really hasn't, this
Nothing's
state aid
changed.
hasn't changed.
Okay, so
Yeah,
how much?
48,150.
48,150.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna round on everything here to at least the nearest $10.
Yeah. Okay.
And for class 3 is 33.49 miles. That's 51,000.
Okay. Done.
And so town tax funds raised. What did the town vote on this year?
For highway?
Yeah, overall,
Oh.
without the state aid
Yeah, I
portion.
need to go to the front here, where the line item, which was the school board count, and then the right there, show voters and town report about appropriating, that's
Yep.
not taken out of there.
Does that include any special projects? or anything
That's
that-
including there's that 651,000, that's also including the state aid. We don't
Yeah.
add it in twice.
Right,
No, that's the total budget that passed the town meeting.
right. And then it's the way it is read in here for the select board to deduct anticipated revenue. And we haven't gotten any revenue, so we,
No, the total budget's is 651.
Yeah.
But we don't raise that in taxes because we minus state aid. But see, that 710, that's what was voted last year.
last year was 710,443.
I don't think we put in for any special projects, did we?
So last year we probably, not that it mattered because there was no emergencies, but the way that I'm hearing this is we should be taking this state aid out of this
To get our actual figure?
to get the actual, just the town tax
Yes,
funds.
because that 99,119 is included in the 651.
Yeah, we shouldn't have done that last year, so we'll take that right out.
So I should get white out?
No,
So-
so this is, we're gonna do that.
But we haven't gotten that yet.
Right, we haven't gotten that yet.
I know, because this is just an estimate.
Of what you're going to receive.
Right, and because we estimated, anticipated.
Yeah, maybe I missed
And
that
then-
because the way some books are written, I ask it that way to get what just the town brings in. So I should have asked it in the way, what is the town tax revenue bringing in? Because this is broken down just in the income. So it looks like maybe last year, am I seeing this correctly? Last year we added this in twice because it was in this dollar and then we added it in with this again.
Okay, got it.
And then the expenses will take all that.
Okay, so what, did
We
you
need to-
already do the math?
We need to
Shane?
less the 99% off that.
The 99,000, yeah.
So if we,
So we shouldn't be asking at town meeting for the 651 then,
No, we
right?
have to.
We have to.
You have to ask for what you want to do for your budget. And then because that is anticipated.
Right, no, I
It may
understand that.
not.
Right.
Now, this is just their paperwork for
766.
It's better be over than under.
giving us the
Okay.
percentage
Split.
for roads.
Yeah, the two big bullet points is to show that Title 19, Section 306 shows that you're spending at least $300 per mile.
Mhm.
That's a qualification for state aid. And then in the event of an emergency, we're going to look at this non-winter maintenance budget funds. So say you had a big structure that blew out, then we would, the state emergency grant funds in that orange book talks about that. We can come and pay 90% of that replacement with state aid because the town wouldn't be able to afford it. The town would budgets would fail.
So you mean like a major highway blows out for us?
Yep.
Not a US route, but.
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay, yeah.
Exactly. Then
Okay.
we can come to town. We can just take a quick calculation to see if it hits that 10% of that number threshold.
I keep coming up with 796 instead of 66. I know it's insignificant, but
651.
916 minus
My fat fingers here. 651.
minus 99 119.
150.
There's 51,000 in state aid.
99, 150, right? Because that's 48, 150, and that's 51,000. Right?
I was just going off the
Oh,
total allotment.
that's what
Which is
Shane.
Oh,
Nine-
yeah,
99.
yeah. No, I took I rounded. a
Oh,
couple.
that's why it's
Yeah.
off. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that explains the $30
Yeah.
rounded. I was using the exact. You were
Yeah,
using the rounded.
So did you round up or down?
So what's the
You
total?
never know with him.
Did you total? Can you give me a total?
No, because we're not
We're
done
not there yet?
No.
Okay.
Do we? Last year we had the bond and road structures, and so we had that one as special funds and paving. The paving is that coming out of this year's or last year's budget? Paving grant.
Last year.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's already been reimbursed and everything, so
Yeah.
we're gone. So you don't have anything coming this year other than the 4,000 for the category A, right? You said.
Category A.
From
Do
Sarah.
you already have that grant in play? Did you get that?
Nope, we just got the
We
award
got the
letter.
award.
Right, you just got the letter.
And then
Oh, so you were awarded it?
Yeah.
So we'll put it in, Better Roads Grant 4,000. DR grant.
Okay.
Put Cat A there.
there was 4 items that she needed relative to that grant before they could, or we could.
Yeah, I gave you a copy of that letter.
Yeah, I've got it.
It said we could start work, but it might be detrimental because of right there. That's it.
What we can do, because you're awarding up to $8,000, we're gonna put it in and take it out right down here, so it's no material.
Do you want 8,000 in there?
Yep.
What do I call it?
BR grant, Cat A.
Okay. Done. What do I call it down below? Same thing?
Yep.
Come up to the same total as I do. $659,916.
You're probably not rounding like he is.
Mm-hmm.
You are?
Is that what you got there, Mr. Moore?
I have 759,066.
Nope. I got 659,916.
You're off that 100 grand in there for
Yeah.
the mileage allotment.
I didn't put that in there. What do you got that I don't have, Shane? You add 48,150, add 51,000, add 552,766, and 8,000. There you go. It's better. 659,960.
Just blame it on the fat figures.
Yeah, it's something.
Okie dokie.
Pushing numbers. I'm not very good at it.
That's what you got people for.
I don't know, I like his figures better. It was more.
Now we're down to winter maintenance.
No, we're gonna work backwards again. So this is
659.
Yep.
916.
Yep. So we're gonna put that right in the bottom.
Right here?
Yep.
It's a great tool.
Wonderful.
Very handy.
659, 916 on the bottom, Shane.
Yeah, we're gonna subtract out that 8,000.
So it'd be 651, 916.
Yep.
Where does that go, buddy?
Nowhere yet.
Okay.
And then we're gonna take your summer and winter maintenance 60-40 split. I'm assuming it's roughly the same percentage on that. So we're gonna take that number times 60%, and then you're gonna have 391
Winter?
for winter. Yep.
391?
149.6.
0.60?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the remaining balance is gonna go into the 40% non-winter.
And we are keeping track of our projects now whenever we graveling and sanding and plowing and everything. So Mike's doing detail, Fred's doing detail whenever we're out doing something.
Yeah, whatever it takes, gravel or sand or stone, whatever we got.
Yeah.
So
We should be able to give you exact figures.
it'll be cool.
Yeah. That's kind of handy.
Well, it's opening our eyes up a lot.
Oh, yeah.
We thought, and then what might be. So.
Right. Yeah, that's good information to have.
Okay, so the guys can sign this form, right?
Yep.
And you want a copy?
Yeah, I'll take a copy back and then Dale will sign it.
Okay,
And then you will get a copy mailed back to you,
Yep.
signed copy mailed back.
okay, I'll make a copy.
Yeah,
just
it
like
doesn't
that.
hurt, yeah, just so you have it.
It's all the same contacts.
Same, okay,
Yeah.
I just thought of
Unless
it.
anybody has any email updates or anything like that.
Perfect.
So, on this, permit.
The
we're supposed to
MRGP.
get From A&R, we have not done anything. We did put money in the budget, and it was approved, a special line item for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this something I need to call somebody and start the process, or is this automatic? Is it a group thing, district wide?
much.
Are we all embroiled under each town?
Yeah, each town.
I've done nothing to secure or even start that process.
The permit,
The permit.
yeah. Letter of intent, I think is the only thing that needs to go back of money.
In July, right?
Yeah, it's July.
That's our $2,600.
2,600.
Yeah. You have it right there. I haven't seen it on your end, but it looks like
I don't know, I
this
just,
will be the first one.
And then
I've
after
seen.
that, it'll be about developing a plan to kind of address the problem culverts or roads. And that Sarah's work will help identify those.
I do not have
So-
it.
You're now in like the planning stage, you know, you'll apply, you'll submit the permit, but then you'll start your planning. You know, you have, I don't know what it is now, 18 years or something in that regard, to achieve the goals of the permit, you know, so you can do it in phases. And by Sarah just identifying all your infrastructure, that's step one, I think. So you guys are in good shape. You're on the target.
Okay.
But as far as the permit, it's July 1st, I think, is the date, but
Yeah.
you need to send that in, but you're not behind the
Oh,
the
okay.
game.
Just-
No, I think you're in normal position as to
We
everybody
get the
else.
money.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's that's
Probably ahead of
step.
where
And then,
some are
you know,
at.
Lake
this is where
Champlain is already smiling.
well, and this is where taking advantage of the Better Roads grants is key, because the state is going to provide you funding basically to do the things they're requiring you to do. So, you know, instead of looking at it like other states coming down on us, and sometimes do, sometimes don't, but uses it, the state's going to provide opportunities to mitigate the things that they're wanting you to mitigate. So if you take advantage of those Better Roads grants on the roads that are connected, you know, you can save yourself money and do okay on it, you know.
That process started, right, Fred? She came up here.
No, we haven't been around with her yet. She's been
Okay.
here.
You got the grant.
We've got to meet with her and go around the roads with her. She got.
Okay. And we had a meeting with her, and we agreed on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll do a good job.
I just to go around with her and see what she wants and whatever.
I'm sure they'll send us a.
We certainly
a
get
reminder
more
with the
out of
permit,
the
too.
state
yeah.
than what this
I'm sure they will.
$2,600 for, that's for
But
sure.
it-
Well,
there's
we
money-
got 8,000,
they'll-
right?
they'll let you
So-
know.
It's
I
like-
mean,
Yeah.
so that's,
but we got to do our part.
oh yeah, yeah.
Apply for the and pay the fee.
Can't be on one side of the go
You
around.
stop and think about it though, and there's more water that goes to Champlain than it does go to Magog,
Compliance updates.
out of this side
Yeah.
of the,
February.
Yeah, I would think.
you stop and
from
think
here,
about it,
yeah.
I mean,
So
'cause
annually,
you gotta go over the mountain
Yeah.
to get,
So this permit cost is an annual thing.
Not the 26.
How would it, that was a one-time for 18-year permit?
Well,
And then there's reoccurring costs that are, what is it, $400 annually? Yeah, or $400 if there's a large change.
no, I thought the annual cost was going to be 2,000. The initial one is a little higher because there's an extra
Oh, the
fee.
annual's
So
2,000.
the annual will be 2,000. The first one is the most expensive one, but yeah, it's still going to be 2,000 every year.
Okay.
But
It was
apply
gonna
for
be something like
yeah,
that every
no,
year.
it is. But
Alright.
apply for Better Roads
Oh.
every year, and you get 20 grand back.
Major change
Yeah.
to the
Oh, yeah.
plan.
It's
Or
Well, I
if
mean,
you
we already got
redevelop
eight
plan,
grand,
right,
more
right,
or less.
and that's how you
so it
start the
could be
process.
Exactly.
$2,600.
It'll all work out. And the other thing to think about with the gym permit stuff is that, you know, not all of your roads are going to be connected. Considered connected. You're only needing to upgrade the roads that are connected for the permit purpose. So say you have 50% of your roads that are connected, and then say 50% of that 50% might be up to par as we speak. They might, you know, Fred's been working on them and they're probably fine. So we technically, these are just general numbers, but you could be looking at only 25% of your roads that actually need to be addressed. So if you look at it that way, it's not quite as overwhelming is thinking, oh, every road needs all this work done and all this money invested.
No.
So if you just, if you break it into increments and that becomes more manageable, more affordable, and I think that's a good way to look at it. And it's
In summary, there are things that you're going to be doing anyway because Fred does a good
right,
job with his
right.
roads.
I mean, it's just
So the things that, like he's mentioned, ditching, he's going to be ditching anyway. It's just a matter of,
Doing it per the orange book, right?
yeah,
Right.
for the orange book and per,
Which he does
and per the
anyway.
green book.
Yeah.
That,
Right.
yeah.
And some of that can be money back from it.
And now you can get, it's one of those things, we can't change it. It's here. They're making us pay it. It's a law now. And so what we can do is get some more money out of it and get money reimbursed.
Be
It is our
mindful.
money anyway.
just
Might as well
focus-
get it back.
focusing on the connected segments.
Yeah.
Focusing on the segments that the permit entails, not, staying in the scope of that and utilizing the money to fix those, and then you're going to be in compliance and your roads are better. I mean, and there's less water going, or polluted water or sedimented water,
That's the biggest.
and
Phosphorus.
so we all win in the end.
And Fred's going to have the opportunity to working with Sarah. Fred's going to have the opportunity to say, this is the spot that's bad. This is where I want to work on because
Right.
this is what I see as the most. So she's going to take a lot of weight off what he's saying and applying it to this plan that is your working permit. They'll have the literature in the permit, but the working part of that plan that's in that is
We'll
the
go
permit.
off what Fred
Can go
tells
off
us.
what Fred.
Okay,
You
perfect.
guys will be in good shape.
Can we get
It'll
it?
be fun.
Can I take a copy of it?
Yeah, you can take a copy of that. I don't know if what I sent back, sent you in that email or if you got that. I attached a bunch of things in there. And I didn't know if you-
Played lately, so
You're not retiring? No, it's still
I like
turning.
doing what I'm doing.
Well, that's good.
I'm just gonna
Do it.
do that till somebody finds me there.
Oh,
Careful, let's help you. You got any ice?
Okay, so
You're
what other
fishing.
paperwork?
Might not work quite as hard as they used to, but
So to move this along, what's the next paper we need?
That's it for submittals, at least.
That's it?
That's the only thing we're taking on.
Unless you guys have any other things you want to talk about or
the
need to talk
only
about.
thing I had was the permit.
Yeah, that's a valid
Do
question.
you have anything, Fred?
No, I don't. We probably just.
Yeah, we
went through
chatted a
it.
bit. before you-
Oh, thanks.
So this municipal highway grant, Shane,
Mhm.
this is if Fred comes up with some work that he wants to do,
I
like
think
the
guys have a big structure.
Yeah,
big structure.
Yeah,
which he said he doesn't think this
Actually,
year.
we haven't got it. I'm in good shape, actually.
Hey, next year's another
Hard
year.
to
There'll
pinpoint
be-
something that needs to be done.
Well, that may be where Sarah's gonna help too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
help.
right,
So
absolutely.
we get together with her and we see what she comes up with.
And there'll be another pool of money for next year too.
So
So
it'll
Get
be,
one of these?
Yeah,
it'll be interesting what she does come up with.
Yeah.
going through this.
yeah. You red check that book.
I'm gonna red
So is
check.
she, I wonder if she's gonna call us or we have to call her?
I'd call
Well,
it.
I know a good 90% of the call the trains,
Right.
The roads have all been traveled 3 times, so.
Yeah, Sarah will do a good job for you. She's gotten them down
She
now.
doesn't work with her. She doesn't work. She works for U.S. USDA, the USDA office. She does. And the reason why she's involved in this, and she's contracted with Doug Morton.
Oh, from NVDA?
Yeah. So they're working side by side to tackle some of these things that, for the category A's, the inventory, because they're going to collect data, GIS data and information while they're doing this to make it a lot easier to make that information usable for the future too. So they're the ones that are going to be, it's not just a piece of paper anymore. Unfortunately, it's like all the other parts and pieces that go into it. They got to store the information, make it usable, make it output, and serve all these other needs with it.
Perfect.
And that's kind of why she's there.
So that final database should be available to the town, right?
Yeah,
The
it is.
culvert size, the locations, the streams.
She'll have a report for you.
Yeah, they did most of that.
Yeah, and then you'll be
Put
able
it
to.
on the computer.
Yeah, so VOBS, that's your codes and standards. You have that inventory there that Doug Morton did years ago, and that's left to the town to still update. If you change a culvert, go into
Yeah.
VOBS, update which one
Yeah,
to
we do
change.
that.
Like Bond
Bunch of
Road, that'll be one that you're gonna wanna go on and change. Say this is the
The
new structure
size,
now. And NVDA was the one that did that holds they update that software and keep that program going. but the towns have to feed it. This here, the category A is one, and I did ask that question this year. I don't know if I got back to you on that. The category A, so the towns can apply for it now and get it, the category A inventory, but they can apply for it again and update it. 10 years from now, 5 years from now, because they're going to be working on it.
Right, so there's gonna be changes.
Right, there's going to be a lot of changes. There's an annual reporting that they have to say that they work towards, but if they wanted to do an overhaul of their entire
Interesting.
plan again, they can do that with another Category A grant down the road. It probably won't be the $8,000,
Right,
maybe a
maybe
couple
less,
thousand.
yeah, because you wouldn't need the full
Exactly.
comprehensive one. That's good to know.
Yeah, that is, so
I didn't
it's
realize
not
that.
like this grant's a
It's not
one.
one and done. No, this is going to be lasting for the next 20 years. It's because,
Goes hand in
frankly,
hand
our
with
water
the permit.
quality is crap.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of phosphorus in Magog now. There's other issues. And we have a small piece of it with roads.
Well, the phosphorus, isn't that what's helping the milfoil to grow?
Yeah, the blooms, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
that's
That's what they're trying to stop, right?
choking everything out.
I mean, I have some lakefront property, and there's issues going on with the lake that I'm on, but one of the issues that I see is the cottages and the camps that are so, and then we've had the property for like 40 years, it's been in the family, but what used to be like a summer type thing is now turned into a year-round home, and they have hot tubs and washing machines and everything else, and I still know they have the cedar box in the ground, Is that going to be addressed? I mean, I know they're picking on farmers for runoff.
Sure. Hey, everyone, I think we all play a part some way.
Right.
There's a
so-
new,
But I never see anything really focused on that because obviously they're paying a large property tax being there, so it's we don't upset that apple cart, but
there's talk from a stormwater perspective of ways to mitigate lakefront homes or properties. Not necessarily, from the water coming out from the inside the house itself. It's more for properties, learning better methods to collect some of the water before it gets in the lake, like leaving a little bit of a foliage right on the exact shoreline,
Mhm.
Like what the watershed's
rain
doing.
Buffers and
gardens,
stuff,
rain gardens and buffers and things like that. So they're looking at it now. It's a new function called the Stormwater Collaborative, and that's just getting going. So that's going to be addressing from that vantage point. As far as output from the household, I don't know about that, but
Oscar
it's a
Round
great
is the
point.
board for that.
I beg your pardon?
Oscar Round is the board leader for that.
Well, and I understand it gets caught in the process if the house gets sold. Or
Right,
whatever,
that's-
and the
that's
bank
the-
does a thing, and the whole septic thing needs to be
Yeah.
upgraded. But if it's just something that's been in the family,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's been like grandfathered,
I don't see
it's
any
like-
changes in that.
and you
There's a
look
lot
right
of
out
that
in the
happening.
water, and there's this weed growth that's,
Yeah.
and it's like, I know why that's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's seeping underground through.
Oh, of course it does.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it's got to go somewhere.
Water gets where it wants to go.
Absolutely.
20 feet from the water, you got a cedar box on the ground.
Not cut.
Gotta grow.
Hey, Fred, I gotta have you sign
Yeah.
something. for us.
Because I'm not gonna swim there.
I can't answer
Don't
your
tell
question
them.
on that. I know A&R has their enforcement folks, but I don't.
I mean, when the select board was the health officer, I brought that up.
Yeah.
It's like, nobody really wanted
They don't want to talk
address
about
that.
it.
No,
Yeah,
they don't want to
nobody wants
talk
to talk
about
about
that.
We don't want to talk
Yeah.
about the difficult things.
Yeah. So they are,
So
long
I said-
story, they're talking about stormwater parts of that, lakefront properties, but that's not gonna address what you're talking about, so it's a
Well,
different
they,
entity.
it was for these algae blooms, and they wanted the health officer, if we got a call on them from Magog on our portion of it, is to go down and address the owner's concern that there's an algae bloom out in the lake, and it's like, do you really want me to address that?
Yeah, the real, yeah. Maybe well, you go door to door.
I will do
On
that,
all the lakes around there, and you can have a little chat with every property owner. It's a good idea.
In your spare
I'm
time.
good at making friends.
Good role for you.
It's a real concern. I
Yeah,
mean,
oh,
Yeah,
it's,
it
it's
is.
incredible.
Absolutely.
you can do everything you want on this side.
Oh, yeah.
And
If you don't address those
if that's
issues, you're-
still happening.
Yep, agreed. Agreed 100%.
Exactly.
There's a lot of moving parts to it.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a lot at stake. There's a lot to upgrade all those systems. The amount of money But it may come to that, to be honest. The way they're going, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something to that, you know, in maybe 5 years, you know. Because they're going to realize that all these efforts now, you know, if it doesn't produce the results intended, which it may or may not, you know, time will tell. If it doesn't, though, and they still have all these blooms and all these lake problems, they're going to have to look at it from a different angle, and that might be what you're suggesting. So, be interesting to see how it plays out.
I had a good friend that was head of fisheries in the state. He's passed away now. Angelo, he said that what permits they had to, and filtration that they had to put in for the sending the water out of the fisheries was actually cleaner than the lake water.
Yeah.
You know, they just go so far over.
Above, yeah,
When
standard.
When we, one of my senior projects was designing a water treatment facility, and it was the one that was actually built in Connecticut, on the Connecticut River. Yeah, and there was the way that Connecticut does it, because we had to meet with the select board, and we had to. It was a long project, and long story short, the effluent that was coming in by the time it was treated and where the water coming out of it was cleaner than
Like drinkable.
So, yeah, it essentially was,
Yeah.
and so that town made money off their treatment facility because of the credits that they were putting, reducing nitrogen and phosphorus. So they were able to get credits from that. So there's an engineering solution to everything, just a matter of when the urgency is high
Right,
enough.
exactly.
When there's a sense of urgency that's high enough that spikes something, there's a solution to it that can be applied, but that cost of that solution, people have to be willing to fund.
They had that on the news, I think, what you're talking about, where the governor was at the treatment facility and took a glass of water and drank it,
You shouldn't have done
coming out of the sewer.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have done it?
that. No,
Why?
I just watched a show on the treatment facilities that we have in public treatment facilities. Take out the particulate matter and out of, but it does not address chemicals,
Yeah,
drugs,
there's other things in there.
opioids,
Heavy
caffeine,
metals.
coffee.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is still in there, going right out into the water.
Yeah.
And it's like, no way would I drink it.
Yeah, there's only
He was
really
making
only
a
half
point.
a dozen,
Yes.
half a
Yes.
dozen things that treatment facility is actually doing.
That's right.
And there's thousands of different things in that water. And the mass balance equation is one equation that you can look at those 1,000 different items and look at them each individually. You'd have to look at each particulate or element of that water. Whether it be phosphorus, nitrogen. There's thousands of different ones. Heavy metals.
I know for years in the city they said, you know, don't flush your old pills down to the,
Yeah,
down
no,
the toilet.
because that's not
Bring
something
them
that's
into the PD, and we've got a collection station at the sheriff's department and the PD.
It was funny, the bar graph that they showed had like the chemicals that they were testing for, and the last one was caffeine. And it
Really?
was- all the others are down here.
Yeah.
Caffeine was just shot.
No
right up.
kidding.
Shane should be on decaf.
Yeah.
Shane on caffeine.
Unbelievable.
Mm.
And so they were doing a study on what's the long-term effect on fish with the high levels
Yeah.
of caffeine and drugs.
See you guys.
See you, Brad.
Thank you,
See you later,
Fred.
Fred. Happy plowing.
Holler if you got any questions. I will.
All right, I guess that's it.
We're gonna get Anthony's Subaru to go to Canaan anyway, so.
Oh, we're all coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned?
I beg your pardon?
Meeting adjourned?
Yeah, meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
I got served to boil.
And thank you, Shane, for everything you've done.
Not a problem. We appreciate it.
And good to meet you.
Yeah, Eric Pope. Good to meet
Steve
you.
Barrow.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Rick.
Hi, Rick.
You're
Good to
the
meet you.
A&R?
No, I work with Shane.
Oh,
Yep. I'm part of the Derby office.
Scott used to do it alone.
I know. Well, I know. Shane needs all the help.
Yeah,
We're all aware of that.
Yeah. What Eric is going to be working on and helping municipalities with all these new things with MRGP, Better Roads grants, there's all of these other systems that are in play now. And then this guy. So I'm going to be sticking to this. You know, we'll work together on a lot of different things, but
I work
all
for
of these
Shane
new-
basically, but
These new things that come along, there'll be
Are you out of the?
more questions.
same office as Shane. Yep, we're right next to each other. So yeah, I handle a lot of the town related, grant items and such, and always happy. So anytime you guys need anything, please don't hesitate.
That's kind of my go-to guy,
Yeah.
is when I email
Reach
somebody,
out.
it's
We're that's what we're there for.
him now.
Yeah,
Shane's kind of on the back burner now.
I don't really do anything anymore.
No, it's pretty much, yeah. Plays a lot of solitaire.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Problems.
Orange book.
Yeah,
Do you need
Fred-
another one of those? Would it help? I'll give you another one. It looks like you could.
I wouldn't mind having one here, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
that's
bring
what I was
another one.
gonna say. I'd
Yours-
like to look